What's going on, guys? This is Codex here, back again with another video, and in today's video we're going to be talking about Mafia the Definitive Edition. Over the past 2 weeks I've been playing Mafia the Definitive Edition right here on this channel, and I must say I am enjoying the game, but there's a couple of things that I would love to share with you guys about what I think the game needs and what I think the game is doing really good. Credit should be given where credit is due, and with this game in particular, the one thing that it really shines on is the graphics, and I really appreciate how well optimized the graphics are in this game. So the system that I'm running this game on is an Intel i5-10400F and a GPU of an RX 570, and I've been playing the game on a consistent 60 FPS at max settings. Every time I launch this game, I always have a great feeling of playing it at 60 FPS while the settings are maxed out, and it really feels good playing the game at a consistent frame rate. So anybody excluding me when I say this game has really good graphics and it's well optimized, please believe me when I say that, because yeah, it's well freaking optimized. Forgive me because I'm gonna start nitpicking the game. So one thing that I've noticed with this game, they made a really good balance between pre-rendered cutscenes and the graphics. In other words, what I mean is that the pre-rendered cutscenes, they're not over-the-top CGI, ray-traced shadows, or ray-traced mirrors. So, in other words, every time you go into a cutscene, you get really good motion capture cutscenes, and you also get really good pre-rendered cutscenes. And those cutscenes, they're not way far off from what the game graphics are, which yeah, some games really do overdo it when it comes to pre-rendered cutscenes. That's just me being honest. The story of Mafia actually revolves around Tommy Angelo and how he got into the Mafia. The game literally kicks you off with Tommy Angelo being in trouble, and he has to talk to this detective, of which I think he has an Irish accent, and the motion capture in that scene and in every freaking scene is really good, man. Like, it is really good how well they did the motion capture. So at the moment I am halfway through the story, but long story short, if you are well invested in this game and the story, you will love it. And if you're somebody that really loves watching movies like The Godfathers Part 1, Part 2, and Part 3, you're gonna really love what Mafia Definitive Edition story has to have in store. So yeah, if you're somebody that values story over everything, you're gonna really enjoy the story of Tommy Angelo and how he got into the Mafia. I honestly don't want to spoil a lot for you if you haven't played the game, so that's why I'm touching the topic of the story a little bit vague, so that I could avoid spoiling the story for you, because I don't want to spoil the story for you. The gameplay of Mafia is not very far off from Grand Theft Auto 5's gameplay. I think everybody by now should be aware how the gameplay is in Grand Theft Auto 5. The twist in Mafia the Definitive Edition is that they have sneaking. At the moment, I haven't found sneaking very useful if you're playing on medium level or lower levels or even easy, because I honestly think it has to do with the fact that if you're playing the game at a lower difficulty, the AI will spot you just to keep the player interacting with the game. So that's why I think when the game is on easy or medium, the AI will always spot you even if you're not supposed to be spotted. And we're gonna nitpick the AI a little bit more within a sec. If you play the game on classic difficulty setting, you get a nice set of mechanics that actually make sense if you were to sit down and think about it. For some reason, the AI is way better in classic difficulty setting, because if you get spotted and then you sneak away, usually the AI would associate the player's last known location, and then they would try to coordinate and scour that last known location just so that they can try to spot you. And yeah, long story short, you can avoid gunfights even if you're already spotted by just sneaking away, and of which I think that's a really clever idea of adding good AI. Yeah, dude, the AI on classic difficulty setting, it's really accurate, and it makes the game even more challenging, and it also makes you interact with more of the mechanics that the game has to offer, like sneaking, and also if you get to silent and assassinate an enemy target, you can pick up the body and then hide it in some unknown location. So, and the other thing that classic difficulty setting really does really good in this game is the driving. Because if you drive in situations where Tommy is not under pressure, he will, and I've seen it for myself, he will change the gears very slow because he's not in a rush and he's not under pressure. And if you're in a situation where when you're being chased down by enemies or you're being chased down by the police, Tommy will definitely change the gears faster if he is under pressure or is being pursued by enemies or pursued by the police. And in all honest truth, I really like the fact that Hangar 13 or 2K Games took time to actually implement those mechanics way more properly, because it's really satisfying to actually drive with Tommy Angelo in such a way that when he's under pressure he drives slightly more faster, or when he's not under pressure it's more like a cruise, and yeah, his driving's normally slow. The only issues I had with this game wasn't with the story or with the mechanics or with the AI or with bugs, because there isn't any bugs, but it has to do with the city, because the city is a living, breathing city, but I think it could have used a lot more breadth to it, because there isn't any side missions, there isn't any other things to do besides the story, unless you're gonna go out on the scavenger hunt if you want to. If they only had added more mechanics that didn't have to do with the story, like being able to be a taxi driver, having a currency system, having side missions, shit like that, that actually makes the city even more breathing and living, if I may say. Because this game would have benefited the most out of those small and minute content, of which the game would have benefited the most out of it, because the city is beautiful and the story is really great, but there isn't any side missions. So yeah guys, that's what I think about Mafia the Definitive Edition, because I honestly think this game would have benefited a lot out of side content, of which I think that's where it actually lacks the most. But if you have any suggestions or any issues that you want to voice out, please leave a comment down below. Please smash the sub button if you want to see more Mafia videos, because I'm still currently playing through Mafia the Definitive Edition, and I would really appreciate it a lot if you guys would hit the sub button. And other than that, I'll just have to leave, because this is the outro. Bye bye guys.